Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today, I couldn't be any more excited if you gave me $1 million because I'm hanging out with somebody that is just an incredible human being, and I've gotten to know so well over the last couple of months. Miss Amie Donald. Amie, how you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here. But before we talk about why you're here, Amie, I would like the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. Um, Obviously, you're coming fresh off your role as Megan in M3GAN. Now, something I recently found out that I think is just so incredible is you did your own stunts for the film. Obviously, I don't want to get into what age you are. I don't feel that's appropriate, but you're a very young lady. What was it like for you to not only be a part of this film, but to be doing your own stunts on set as well?
It was so amazing because it was so much fun. Everybody was really welcoming, and Jed, Brophy, and Luke Hawker and Ike, they helped me a lot with my acting side of it and my stunt side, which is very amazing.
Right. And you go and watch the movie, and obviously the movie is so new that I'm not going to give away any type of spoilers here. I just don't feel like that would be the right thing for us to do. But a lot of what you see with the dancing and the running and all that, that is you. So when you're doing this in makeup and everything, was it hard for you to stay focused on what you were doing with all the makeup and everything on, or was it kind of just second nature? Because you are a dancer too, correct?
Yes, I am a dancer. It was kind of just it did like it was second nature for me because I've done a lot of prosthetics before, so it's not really distracting, but once you've had it on for a while, you can barely notice it's there. So yeah.
And it's you guys did an amazing job in this film, and something that I've been talking about lately with a lot of people is this is a movie that if you guys haven't seen Megan yet, get out from under that rock, go to your local cinema and watch this film. um it's not only a horror story, but it's a thriller. There's a lot of emotion that comes along with this movie. I am the first person to say I openly wept in the theater at a certain scene. Now, obviously, you and Violet, both very, very young ladies. What was it like with the chemistry between the two of you? Did you guys bond immediately, or was this something you guys had to work at a little bit?
Well, from the very first day I met Violet, we became best friends nearly instantly, and we'd always be having fun with each other on set or outside of set, and she's just really lovely. I love Violet.
That makes me happy to hear. I mean, it's amazing that you both being such young ladies carried this film. You know, this film really rests on the shoulders of you and her and the interactions that you guys have and the range of emotions that even you as, an artificial doll, you still show and portray a lot of different emotion. And obviously you're doing a horror movie. There's a lot of young people on set. Did you guys play games and stuff like that in between takes to kind of keep it fun?
Yes, we did. We play games in between takes, but we also some of the crew would give us some pens and paper and would draw on set, and then we'd draw different things, and that was fun. And sometimes when we were off set, we'd play some music and we'd just sing some songs.
Well, and music is an integral part of the film too. There's a lot of big music cues that go along with the film.
I'm Katie. It's nice to meet you, Katie. Do you want to hang out? Okay.
I know a lot of people were complaining that it got a PG-13 rating. Um, and to be honest with you, if it's a PG-13 rating and this is what we got, I look at a lot of these scenes and I'm like, if they would have just bloodied and goried it up just to get an R rating, that wouldn't make much sense when it comes to the story. And PG-13 horror to me, I mean, you look at not only M3GAN, but like The Ring, Insidious, Drag Me to Hell. These are all very scary movies with very scary imagery. We don't need a bunch of blood and guts. So what was it like for you when you were actually doing like some of the bloody scenes? Was that a lot of fun for you to be a part of that?
Yeah, it was so much fun to just be doing all of these scenes because um, the actors that we worked with made it just so much more fun, and it was it was so cool because they'd talk us through everything before we got onto set. They'd show us like all the blood before we went on there, and it was really sticky, which was the only bad. It was just stuck to everything.
Well, it makes me feel very happy that, how far we've come to be able to make sure that our younger actors and actresses are taken care of on set. You guys aren't just thrown to the wolves. They make sure, you are doing a scary horror movie, but at the same time, they want this to be a fond memory for you that you're going to remember forever. And I just talked about NDAs and stuff like that. So I know that there's some things you can't talk about, but before we get into why you're here, are there any projects that you do have coming up that you are able to talk about?
Yes, so I'm right now working on another season of Sweet Tooth right now, and that's really fun because there's a lot of characters in this next season that we're working on, and they've got some more stunts in that as well, which was really cool. Yeah.
So do you prefer to do your own stunts? Like, do you like doing your own stunt work?
Yes, I do. Stunt work, fun thing in the world. It's so awesome.
Well, that's incredible because, like I said, the range for you being an artificial intelligence in the movie, you still feel that range of emotion from M3GAN. And again, I'm not going to get into anything spoilery, but I've heard a lot of people, and I also compared it to the Terminator. If the Terminator could show more emotion, and that's what I feel like with M3GAN. Like, she has this ability to feel love and feel betrayal, and it's an amazing thing to watch this all come to life. So there's already talks, and I know we can't talk about this, but there's already talks about maybe a M3GAN sequel on the way. And if that does happen, I'm very excited, and I hope that we stay true to everything, and I'm sure that you will do an amazing job in that as well. So I also, guys, do have all of Amie's social media links down here in the description, so make sure you're giving her a follow, because this star is burning as bright as it is right now, and it's only the beginning. So you can stay up to date on everything that she's doing in the future. Please make sure you follow her on social media at all the links below in the description. So I know this is going to sound weird to you, Amie, but you are already a horror icon. Now, in order for you as M3GAN to be a horror icon, horror had to start for you somewhere. So now I'd like to go back to the past, and not too far in the past because you are still a very young lady, but horror had to start for you somewhere. So the first horror movie that you watched was?
The Purge.
What a fun movie to start off your horror life. It's a movie that is very intimidating, but it's a fun movie to watch. Now, do you remember about how old you were when you would watch The Purge?
I think I was about 11.
And that's right about the age where and you got to be able to separate the fantasy from reality. And I know your mom is a very wonderful person. I get excited to talk to your mom every day. She's one of my favorite people on the planet. And I know that she brought the education along with it to teach you right from wrong with horror movies. And who were you with the first time that you had seen it?
I was with my brother. Yeah.
Do you have an older or younger brother?
He's my older brother. Yeah.
So he kind of bullied you into it. Come here, Amie. I want to show you something. The Purge is one of those movies that is very memorable. It was very unique at the time. It started something, spawned a bunch of sequels. It actually had a TV show for a while too. Do you remember which scene it was from The Purge that affected you the most, Amie?
I think, well, there's one scene that comes to mind, and it was the girl, I can't remember her name, but she comes back the next day of The Purge, and she wants to break into the I can't remember, to break into the dairy, and she wants a chocolate bar.
And I want my candy bar.
And it's amazing at 11, you're like, yes, please get the chocolate bar. And it's one of those movies that you have these moments of levity like that, because there are some pretty funny moments throughout The Purge, but you also have moments like the boyfriend coming over and shooting the dad, to try to get him out of the way. Do you remember what your favorite scene from The Purge was?
Yes, my favorite scene was when they were in the church and they were about to So they were about to purge, and then everybody comes out and they start shooting just everywhere. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
Mass chaos everywhere. Now The Purge is one of those movies that, like I said, it has spawned a couple different sequels. It did get its own television show. Is the original Purge, is that your favorite one in the series, or do you have one that you like a little more?
I think the original is my favorite. Yeah.
I completely agree. I love the direction that movie went in. So I talk about your first horror movie, which was The Purge, and obviously that's an important movie because it started your horror life. But now, Amie, I want to throw a little bit of a curveball here at you for a second. My little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you. What's your favorite scary movie, Amie? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
I think now it has to be M3GAN. It's so
Yeah.
good.
And it's funny because yes, you are a part of that movie. Yes, you are in that movie, but it really is one of those movies that as I'm watching it, I'm going, I'm just blown away because when you have a movie like this, and I will compare it to another recent film, The Black Phone, obviously Violet and Madeline. I'm not trying to make that connection, but it's a movie where you essentially have children carrying the whole movie. And that shows the depth that you guys have and the maturity that you guys have at such a young age to be able to carry a movie that just made over $30 million already. Like, I think it was more than that. And it's carried really by two young ladies. And that is very special. Obviously, you got, the adults and what they do, but 98% of the runtime, I would say, is focused on the relationship building between you two. And I can't recommend this movie enough, guys. I'm very excited for when we get a physical release. I'm very excited to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Now, with The Purge, another thing I want to talk about is, remakes, requels, sequels. That's kind of all the rage right now. Is there a chance that if they made another Purge movie and they came to you, is that something that you would like to be a part of? If you had the opportunity, would you try to be a part of the Purge universe?
100%, because I love the Purge. Actually, last Halloween I dressed up as the Purge for Halloween, which was cool.
That's so cool, man. And I could say I would love to see you in there. I mean, because with The Purge as well, you do have a lot of emotion. Like you have the scene where the little brother opens the garage door so the guy can get back in, and that starts the whole scene where you have the creepy people come and ring the doorbell and he takes that mask off and he's just staring at him through the doorbell. Now, if you had, now I'm going to go just a little, I'm not going to go too far into your personal life here, but is horror the direction that you would like to stick with? Or would you like to maybe broaden your horizons and do some comedy, some drama, some action stuff as well?
I really enjoy horror. I think it's really amazing, but I would say that I would like just anything would be amazing, but horror would be something I would like to stick with.
And what I love about that answer is horror is such a wide variety. You can do a horror drama, a horror comedy, an action horror. You were just part of one of probably the best sci-fi horrors in the last 20 years in M3GAN, and I think that it shows. And I'm not trying to do any comparisons here, guys, but look at the ratings because a lot of people are comparing this to Child's Play 2019. Not a fair comparison because that movie doesn't have, and I love Child's Play 2019. I'm not trying to shit on that, or I'm sorry, I'm not trying to poo on that movie, but M3GAN has a big range of emotion, and there's moments where you're laughing out loud. There's moments where you're genuinely scared. There's moments where you're genuinely angry. There's a moment in the woods where you're rooting for M3GAN. Like there's something that happens with a pair of hands, and you're like, "How dare M3GAN? Where are you? We need you over here in the woods, please." So it has those moments where you're genuinely rooting for M3GAN as well. Now, does that sound weird to you to know that people are kind of rooting for you in this movie as M3GAN the doll?
Yeah, a little bit because I mean, well, she's an amazing character, but sometimes what she does is good because they've made it so that sometimes she's doing it for the greater good and sometimes she's just doing it like, oh, you shouldn't really do.
And it's for you to play this character. What was it like for you to get into that zone? Like, did you have a certain thing you would do on set to kind of get you to go from Amie to M3GAN? Like, did you have your like little ticks or little things that you would do to get you in that mindset?
Yes. So me and Luke and Jed, we would go on set and we had this little exercise called building blocks. And basically, we explained it as it's like little Lego blocks and you're building them up until you're fully M3GAN. So you'd start with maybe the positioning of her. So you'd start getting into her character. Then you'd start with the mindset of her. And then you'd start acting out with her, which is awesome.
It's really cool to hear you actually talk about how something like that would happen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm actually in my car right now. That's why everything is going kind of crazy right now. That's why the background's been going crazy. We had a really bad, I'm going to be transparent with everybody. We had a really bad accident in our town and our road is blocked off. So I wasn't going to be home for a good 45 minutes. So that's why I just pulled over into a parking lot. And that's why I'm doing this interview here. So I'm sorry for the car starting and all the flickering in the background. I really apologize, but I couldn't miss this opportunity. I've been waiting so long to be able to hang out with you and talk about these movies. So we know that your favorite horror movie is M3GAN, and I'm very excited to see where this goes for you in the future. And your first horror movie was The Purge. And if you had the opportunity, obviously you would be a part of those universes. So before I let you go, one last question that I always ask everybody. We're going to go back to The Purge, Amie. And what we're going to do here is rank this movie on a skull count. Now, we're not judging The Purge on acting, production, score, direction, nothing like that. What we're doing here is strictly ranking this movie on how much it affected you on your first viewing. So 0 skulls being not effective, 5 being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. Amie, what would your ranking of the first Purge be?
I think it would be maybe 3.5 skull rating. It was really
That's a very fair ranking. Now, one last thing I wanted to talk to you about. Obviously, you're starting your career and you're starting it off with a bang. And there's a lot of people that are going to look up to you. A lot of young ladies that are going to want to, do what you do. If you had advice to give to somebody that was trying to get into acting at a young age, what's some advice that you could give somebody that would be looking up to you?
I would probably say that no matter what, always listen to everything because everything is so important. No matter if it's just like a little detail, everything means a lot. So you have to take everything into consideration. And sometimes it's just being a little bit more focused. Sometimes you can go home and maybe like write down your day, what happened. So then you can remember that stuff and you can look back at it and say, I started here. And this is where I am now.
That's great advice. That's incredible. Like, I feel like that was scripted. Like, that's how good your answer was. Like, that was amazing. Thank you so much. So Amie, again, I want to say thank you. I know this was your first podcast and you did absolutely amazing. I couldn't be any more proud of you. And I do want to say to everybody else out there, these social media links are not going to click themselves, guys. So head down to the description. Make sure you're following M3GAN on social media. M3GAN. Good Lord. Make sure you're following Amie on social media. So again, you can stay up to date on all the projects she's going to have coming up. Because I promise you, M3GAN is just the tip of the iceberg. It's an amazing start, but it's not the end. So make sure you're following her so you can stay up to date on all the projects she has coming up. Amie, please don't go anywhere. I got a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, as always, keep talking horror. Stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.